Fine. Good morning, guys. Last day, I was just been explained about uh, the code conventions that has to be followed. The code conventions that has to be followed. And very importantly, what did I say? Basically, the case sensitive language. So when you're writing the code, you need to follow a set of rules and regulations. First one, keywords must be in the lowercase. Second one, while consuming the libraries, your names will be in the Pascal case. Your names will be in the Pascal case. And basically, that's a rule. Like write line, W and L are capital, read line, R and L are capital. Like this, we just required to use the Pascal case there. Third one, when you're defining our own classes and libraries, we can follow any casing pattern. No problem with that. But one thing, remember, there's no problem with that. But generally, Pascal case is suggested always. Pascal case is a suggested option here. Okay. And point number 2, you need to save your programs with a .cs extension. The file extension to .cs. What should be the file name? You can give any name to your file, but the general thing is always class name. Better always use the class name as your file name. Okay. And finally, last point, when we are talking here, to write programs in C#, we use an IDE. What is that? What is the IDE? Visual Studio. And last class, I demonstrated you how to install Visual Studio on your systems. Okay. I even uploaded the notes in the Google Classroom. You can just see from there, download and install Visual Studio on your systems, basically. Okay, I very clearly said you, if you already have an old version, on the top of it, install of the new version, no problem. Okay, if I don't have an old version, yeah, it's the fresh installation, what will happen? But if you have an old version, on the top of it, just install a new version. Clear? Fine. So actually, guys, apart from that, we can also write code in Notepad also. We can write code in Notepad also. But one thing, remember, even though you try to write code in Notepad, Visual Studio software must be installed. Sir, I'm writing in code Notepad only now. Is Visual Studio required? Yes, required. Why? And if you don't install Visual Studio, how will you get the compilers and libraries now? You need to get the libraries on your computer first. Libraries, compilers, all are required on your computer. So it is mandatory to install Visual Studio. Using this or not is the secondary, but installation should be done for sure. Okay, remember, I said to you in the last class here, until the next week, I will tell you only basic fundamentals of the language to you. Afterwards, I'll start with object-oriented programming, then object creations and all I'll tell you, I said you. Remember this one, guys. Computer software only, how to install, give some. See, actually, you have some softwares available. By using that, you can increase the size of your drives. I don't remember the software name, Google it. We can install those particular softwares and you can increase, you can resize your drives. Harish, for you only. Okay, so just Google for it, how to resize the drives on your system. So you have some software available. You can, it's a free download, install it, and you can just reconfigure the sizes of each drive. You can increase your drive size. Okay. Yeah. What I'm just telling you, guys, until the next weekend, I will show you writing code in Notepad only. In Notepad only we'll write the code, not by using Visual Studio. Reason I'll tell you. Visual Studio is such a beautifully designed by Microsoft, guys. Very beautifully designed by Microsoft. We don't require to write the code basically. It will be generating the code for you. So automatic compilation, everything it will do for you. Okay, automatic compilations and everything it is just going to do for you. So if you start working with that, okay, if you start working with that, what will happen, you will become dumb. You don't know how to write a class. You don't know where uppercase syntaxes, how lowercase, where lower cases should be used, where upper cases should be used. Visual Studio only will do everything for you. So tomorrow you go to the interview and the interviewer will give you a pen and a paper and ask you to write the code. You say, no, I cannot write the code. I can write the code only if you give me Visual Studio. Otherwise, I cannot write the code. That is how you will become if you start working with Visual Studio from now. Are you clearer or not? So that is the reason why I just don't want to teach you with Visual Studio in the initial stages. So in the initial stages, let us write our code completely using Notepad. So manual compilations, manual execution, everything is going to be manual. So once after we get familiarity, with the language, then I will show you writing the code in the Visual Studio. So first manual compilations, manual executions, everything we will do manually by using the Notepad only, just with the Notepad. Okay, now? Yes. Just a minute here. How to increase, sir? That all I'm telling you. I have some softwares available. Install that software here and just go to the documentation of the software. Install the softwares and just to check it out. How to just increase your size. Softwares are available. Go for it. Please share Google Classroom. Avinash, contact the admin. Contact your admin. Don't ask me the Google Classroom drives links or meeting links. So that's the admin job. Okay, you just contact the admin. If you ping him the admin with your fees receipt, he will add you in the Google Classroom. After install VB, I could select to create a new project, right? Why you installed VB? You're not installing VB, you're installing VS, not VB, Visual Studio. Okay? Yeah, I'll tell you how to work with Visual Studio, creating new projects and all. We'll see, not now, next week we'll see. Okay? Not this week. We'll just check it out in the next week. Yesterday's video is not there in the Google Drive, I think. Ask the admin. Ask the admin. Yeah. Yeah. Today we'll see how to write a program, guys. We are working with what? Object-oriented language, right? What is here? Object-oriented language. Okay. Ours is just going to be an object-oriented language, what we're just going to write. Yeah, follow the class here. That's all I'm telling you today also. Okay. In object-oriented languages, where do you write the code? In object-oriented languages, you're required to write your code inside of a class. You cannot write the code directly. You're required to write your code inside a class. So the complete code should be inside of a class. Are you clear? Yes or not? Okay. What is that? Procedural languages like C. Procedural languages doesn't have classes. Object-oriented languages have classes. So in an object-oriented language, just a minute. Yeah. In object-oriented languages, we'll be writing the code inside of a class. That's the important rule of object-oriented programming. So that's what we talked up in the previous session. So in procedural languages, we don't have anything called class. C language. What is it? It's a procedural program. Directly we write the members. But when we come to object-oriented programming, what we do? We need to write a class, and inside the class, we need to write the code. So this is C language. And this is C++, Java, C#, Python, all object-oriented. So how do you write the code? First in the program, you need to define a class. Inside the class, you're required to write up all your members. Okay? But in C, nothing like this. Straight away, you can write up the code. Okay? So that's so I've shown you an example also. Just a minute, guys. Yes. This is a C program. All of you can just recollect yourself. C program. What did you write? Two functions. Int add, int sub, two functions. Then main function. Finally, what do you do? You'll be calling the functions from here. But when you come to object-oriented, what did I say? Array, these two functions should be inside of a class. They should be inside the class. Yeah. Look at C++ program. See how the two functions are inside a class. Okay, now? So class is defined here. How to define a class? Class, name of the class. So we'll start from there only, guys. We'll start from there only. How? What I'm teaching you today, syntax to define a class. How to define a class? How to define a class? Okay, this is a syntax to define a class. Concentrate, all of you. Modifiers, class, name of the class, and inside of it, you're going to define members. Members means what, guys? Variables, functions. Functions are called methods now. Yes or not? In C language, we call functions. And when you come to modern languages, we call methods. So functions, methods, everything will be defining in the class now. Okay, that's what. In general, what we say? Members. Okay. So now, see guys, from now onwards, whenever I say syntax of anything, if I'm using square braces there, what is the meaning, you know? Optional. And if I use angular braces there, what is the meaning, you know? If I use angular braces here, the meaning of this particular thing is, this statement is going to be any. It represents any. Are you clearer or not? Okay. So this is optional and this refers to any value. That's what exactly it is going to be. Okay. So that's how you're just going to write the code, optional and any. So what is this? Let me clarify you. See now, what is the first one? Modifiers. What are the modifiers? Optional, mandatory. Come on. Optional, not both. It is optional. Square braces are there, na? Optional. These are optional. What is modifiers? Modifiers are some special keywords here. Modifiers are some special keywords. These are basically some special keywords. And what exactly we do with this particular keywords is, what exactly we're going to do with this particular keywords is, there are some special keywords using which which you can apply on a class. These are some special keywords which you can apply on a class. So what is the use of this means? So many keywords are there here. There are so many keywords that are available that you can apply them on a class. Like public, you know, public na, private, public. Array, like this, we are just going to have a set of keywords actually. Okay, so many keywords are there. Every keyword, I'll tell you. When the situation comes, I'll talk about every keyword. Read it, all of you. Modifiers are some special keywords that can be used on a class like public, internal, static, abstract, partial, sealed. So many keywords are there. We can use them on a class. Guys, remember, every keyword I'll explain you, but not now. Okay, it's item. That's optional. We'll talk everything about them situationally. When the situation comes, I'll talk about all the things. Okay, but as of now, they are not mandatory. There is only optional. What next? Class. Just a minute. Just a minute. Sealed is there now. Again, you are telling seal is not there. Sealed is there now. Yeah. We used square brace to tell these are optional. And also we used angular braces here to tell any. What is that? Array, so many keywords are there now. We can use any keyword there. So many are there. Any keyword can be used. Not only keyword. Modifier or modifiers are. Singular or plural. So that means multiple I can use. Public static. See, public static or other public abstract. I can use multiple also like that. Okay, na? So we'll see all these things in detail in object-oriented programming classes. Leave it. Next one. Class. What is class? Class is again a keyword. Class is again a keyword to tell that we are defining a class. Just like we used struct keyword in C language to define a structure. Remember, in the C language, if at all you want to define a structure, we use a keyword. What keyword? Struct. Same way to define a class, we use a class keyword. See, class is a keyword to tell that we are defining a class, just like we used struct keyword to define a structure in C language. Okay, next, name. What is name here? ID, guys. Name is identification. Name is a identification. You're required to give a unique name for your class now. You're required to give a unique name for your class. What name you want to give for your particular class? That is what name is. So name refers to the name of the class. We're just going to give a unique name for each and every of our classes. Is the point clear? Yes or not? Okay. That's what name is. The unique name, what you are planning to give to the class. Any name, your choice. You can give your name as your class name. No problem. Okay, now, next, members. What are members, guys? Members refers to the contents of the class. Members refers to the contents of the class. It refers to a content, what you wanted to define, like variables, methods, all the things, whatever we define, that's called as members. Are you clear with the syntax? Understood? Okay. Now, this is how you define a class, guys. Now, the second thing is, if you want this class to run, carefully listen. If you want this class to run, yes, I want this class to run. If you want this class to run, you need to do one thing. What's it? You're required to write a main method in the class. Without a main method, the class won't run. Any language here, no main code won't execute. Main is the entry point. That's what I explained to you day before yesterday. What is that? Main is the entry point of the program. Every program requires a entry point. No entry point, you cannot run the code. Is it clear, all of you? So main is the entry point of your code. So what you require now, you're required to define a main method. You're required to define a main in your code now. How to define main in your particular code now? Okay, watch it, guys. How to write main in the code. So this is the syntax to define main. How? Static void main. String args. And here you write your statements or logic. You'll be writing the statements or logic there. Static. Last class I explained you in detail about static. What is that? If you declare the method as static, object is not required to call it. If it is not declared static, do you require an object or not? If you don't declare static, do you require an object or not? We require an object. But if that is the case, you are required to write main inside the class or outside the class. If object is needed, it should be inside the class or outside the class. Outside, yeah. If object is needed, it should be outside the class. That's what I explained to you with C++. In C++, it is inside or outside? Outside. Why it is outside? Because if it is inside the class, what is required? Object required. So object is created in the main only. To resolve the problem, what did we do? We return outside. When it is outside the class, object required? When it is outside the class, object required to call main? Louder. Oh yeah. When it is inside the class, only object required, not outside the class. That much clearly explained in the last class to you. When you require object? Not outside, yeah, inside the class. Again, you're telling the same thing. Object is required when it is inside the class, not outside the class. Outside the class, it is not a member of the class now. You require object, members required. Now it is inside or outside? Concentrate on the screen carefully. Inside or outside? Outside. Object required or not required? Not required. But inside? Object required. So that is the problem in C++. That's why we write outside. And when you come to Java, C# and all, main will be inside or outside? Inside. So then also same problem, object required. To overcome the problem, what we do? When I say static, then object is not required for it now. Object is not required. So must and should you required to declare it as static. Any doubts you have on this, you can just go and watch up the appropriate videos, guys. Yesterday's video also I'll provide you. It's not still given. Yesterday's video also I'll provide you. Okay. So yesterday's video also, I'll just give you things. You can just go through the appropriate videos carefully. Very clearly, point to point, I said here. If it is inside the class, object required. Outside the class, object not required. Okay, to overcome the problem, the modern programming languages introduce the concept called static main. Static main will be inside or outside? Inside. Object required or not required? Not required. If you declare static, object is not required. So that is the first important point. Main method should be declared as static. Main method should be declared as static. When it is declared as static, object is not required for execution. Second, non-value returning here. In C, you learned now void. Void indicates what? Non-value returning method. This is a Non-value returning method. Next, name of the method. Name of the method. Understand? It's in Pascal case. Watch it carefully. Pascal case. All this, see, I still now I said you, these are all keywords I said you, remember? And yesterday I clarified you, all keywords must be in lowercase. Class is a keyword. Static is a keyword. Void is a keyword. All are lowercase only. But what is this? Names. All names in Pascal case, I said you, all keywords in lowercase, all names in Pascal case. Okay, now? And basically you watch, this method takes a parameter, guys. What parameter? String array. String array. Yesterday with the Java also, we just been talked about this here. Yes, in Java it is mandatory. In C# it is optional. That is the difference. In Java it is mandatory. In C# it is not mandatory, guys. It is only optional. Okay. So you may pass it, you may not pass it. That's what I shown you yesterday, guys. Watch it. Java program, in Java program, string args. In C#, optional it is. If you want, you can pass it. If you want, you can pass it. When to pass, I'll teach you. When to pass, I'll tell you. And one more thing, in Java, main, lowercase. In C#, that's what the thumb rule, remember, that's all. What is that? All names will be Pascal case. All names will be Pascal case. All keywords will be lowercase. That's all. Okay, now? Main, name of the method, so Pascal case. Example, name of the class, so Pascal case. That's what. Follow that convention carefully. Yeah, this is how you write a main method. Okay, now? Static, to make it execute without a object, void, non-value returning, name, and if required, you can pass any parameters. That's not mandatory, that's only optional. And here write all your logic. Okay? And if at all you want to write a simple class now, look guys, if you want to write a simple class, watch it now. There is a syntax to define a class now. Modifiers are mandatory or optional. Ignore them. Ignore them. Next what? Class. Name of the class. Give some name to your class guys. I'm giving the class name as test. Okay, open the curly braces. Now inside the class, write the main. Come on. Static void main. Static void main. That's all. It's a simple template for a class now. That's a simple template for a class. Just you can write inside of it, you can just write up the code what you're expecting over there. Is it clear for all of you? Yes or not? Okay, let me show you an example to you now how to define a class and how to execute all these things. Okay, guys, observe it. First thing what I'm doing is, all of you carefully, first thing what I'm doing is on my computer's D drive, I'm creating a new folder. I'll name it as C# 10. Nothing guys, I'm using our class timings, that's all. Okay, 10, C# 10. Like this, I'll maintain a separate, for each timing I have a separate folder there. So our folder is C# 10. Okay, so because I have multiple classes, I maintain separate folders, but in your documents, I created a folder with the name C#, that's all. Okay, and two things I want to tell you. One, in folder names and file names, don't use spaces and special characters. I'm warning you. Are you clear? I say C# means everyone will say C#. Don't use special characters and don't use spaces. Don't do these two mistakes. No special characters and no spaces. Follow this carefully. Okay now? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So this is a folder. From today onwards, until the end of the classes, I will save every program in that folder. From today until the end of the classes, I'll save you everything into that particular folder. Okay? Fine. Now, where to write the code? Two options I said here. One is Visual Studio. Second one is Notepad. And I said here, I'm not showing you Visual Studio. I'll show you Notepad. Writing code in the Notepad. Come on. Let me open the Notepad. And inside of the Notepad, I will write the code for you. Just a minute, guys. Yes, all the videos are posted. They are there here, but I will put them in the Google Drive also. You can watch them. Guys, today will be the last session for you for giving the videos or demos. Tomorrow, the link is going to change off. So tomorrow, guys, who are all the online students, by end of the day, you just need to complete your payments and send the details to Mr. Srinivas, and Srinivas will provide you the new link. He'll give you the new link. Okay. So just message him for the new link, guys. Message him for the new link. After 8 p.m. Yeah, very clearly has put the message. Message him for the new link after 8 p.m. Okay, contact him after 8 p.m. He'll give you the new link. Yesterday, most probably today also as a demo class. Today's video also will be given, but from the next, you will not get any video. Are you clear? From tomorrow onwards, you will not be getting any video at all. Okay. So today's video also, I'll ask him to post it. Okay. Yeah. Where to write this? I said, I'm going to write the code in the notepad. Come on, let's start. Class. What is the name? Any name of a choice. I want to get the name as first. Class first. Now inside of it, I'm writing what? Static void main. Static void main. Okay. So the notes, guys, when I printed in the notes for all of you, because you're first time writing the code, wherever uppercase characters has to be used, I highlighted the appropriate characters to you. F capital, M capital. Are you clear? I just highlighted the characters to you there. Okay. Now, I wanted to print some output on the screen. So if at all you want to print anything on the screen, if you are working on C language, we use a statement called printf. C++, C out. Java, system.out.println. In C#, system.console. Watch that carefully. Complete Pascal case. Libraries. All libraries must be used in Pascal case. All these are names only. They are names only. Right line is a name of a function, name of a method. Okay. I'll tell you what is system, what is all names in Pascal case. That's all. That is the thumb rule. And write your message, what you wanted to print. What? My first C# program using Notepad. Is that clear? My first C# program using Notepad is what I'm typing. Okay. Now I'm done writing the program. Yeah, libraries are just like header files. In our C language. We call them header files in C, and here we call them as class libraries. Okay. So you have just defined a class now. So the class is ready. What next? You need to save the program first. You need to save it. With what name should I save? First.cs. Where to save? We created one folder. To save. Let's save there. Go to file menu. Save. D drive. Okay. Drive is your choice here, I said you, but I said you leave C drive for softwares. Always basically try to store in the other drives only. I'm saving in D drive. C sharp 10 is my folder. Go there. Save it there. What is the name? First.cs. Click save. Done. So my program is ready. You can see, go to D drive, C sharp 10, and you see your file saved there. Okay, now. So this is the name, the date, when is it created, what type of file it is. It's a Visual C sharp source file. Okay. So then it's ready. What next? Writing the program, saving the program, or compile it. Next one is compilation of the program. You need to compile the program to check whether any syntactical errors are present. Compilation. Afterwards, execution. How to compile? To compile it, you need a compiler. What compiler? C sharp compiler. To compile it, you need a compiler. What compiler? C sharp compiler is required to compile the code. Okay? And you get the C sharp compiler on your systems when you install the Visual Studio software on your machines. You install the Visual Studio now, so you get the C sharp compiler on your machines now. So when the Visual Studio software is installed on our machines, it will automatically bring us the C sharp compiler. Okay now? Now how to use the C sharp compiler? Carefully listen to me. If at all you just wanted to use the C sharp compiler, if at all you wanted to use the C sharp compiler, you're required to do one thing. What? You need to use it from the command prompt. You can use it from the command prompt. You need to use it from the command prompt. So all of you know how to open the command prompt now? How do you open the command prompt? How do you open the command prompt here? What is that? CMD. We have a command called CMD. It opens the command prompt now. So in the Windows search, search there, CMD will open you the command prompt. All of you are aware of this command prompt? Okay now? Okay, not this command prompt then. It's not this command prompt. Not this, no, not Windows command prompt. Then when you install the Visual Studio software, it will provide you a special command prompt called as developer command prompt. That is what you should open. Is it clear, all of you? Not Windows command prompt. What should you open? Developer command prompt is what you just required to open. Okay, not the Windows command prompt. It is the developer command prompt. No need run menu now. Yeah, directly in the search only you can search off. Array, old versions of the Windows in Windows XP and all, you required to go to run menu and do. But now in the latest, in the Windows 8, Windows 10 and all, directly in the search, you can directly type of the command and get it. Okay, so fine. So what command prompt? Developer command prompt. Go to Windows search and type now. What? Developer. Got it? See? Last class I said you have two versions of the Visual Studio on my system now. Two are there. See? Old one, new one. Okay. So you must have the latest one. Developer command prompt for VS 2022. Okay now? Open it. Click on it. Open it. Open. When you open this, guys, when you open this, by default, it will be pointing, to the location where the Visual Studio software is installed. By default, it will be pointing to the location where the Visual Studio software is installed. Where is it installed? C drive, program files, Microsoft Visual Studio 2022, and mine is a community edition. It is a community edition. Actually, guys, my 2019 is Enterprise Edition. My 2019 is Enterprise Edition. Actually, I'll open that also. Watch. See the part, guys? Have you noticed it? It's an Enterprise Edition. But this one is Community Edition. It's a Community Edition. That is an Enterprise Edition. This is a licensed version here. That's a licensed version. You don't require. I am also showing you a free version only. Okay. So ours are licensed versions because we have licensing issues and all. Because we are in business, we need a licensed version. Okay, that's why we purchase the licenses, but ultimately what I show in the classroom is again a free version only. Purchasing is mandatory for us. That's why we do it. Okay. Okay. So you can just watch it. Community edition is what I have. So by default, we'll be pointing to that location. What to do? Change to your folder first. Come to your folder first. Where is your folder? Which drive? Louder. How to change the drive? CD? Changing the drive is CD. Yeah. CD is to change the drive, not change the folder, not drive. How to change the drive? The computer engineers don't know how to change the drive. Drive name colon, not CD. CD is to change the folder, not drive. What is it? Drive name colon. Okay. So which drive? D drive. D colon. That will change the drive. Are you clear? Drive name colon. Okay, changed. Now what? Change your folder. What's your folder? C#10. How to change? Now CD. CD C#10. Okay? So now you are into your folder. Now you are into your folder. Clearer? Okay? So first you will be pointing to a location where you have just installed. So just to change the drive. How to change the drive? Drive name colon will change the drive. Now you say CD and you just come to your folder. Okay. Now here we need to compile the program. How to compile? CSC stands for C# compiler space file name. That's it. Hit the enter key, it will compile the code. Compiled, see? Microsoft Visual C# compiler version, something it's showing you and all. And once the compilation is successful, it will directly come out of it. And now if you go and check your folder, you'll find a file with the name first.exe. Are you clear? You'll find a file with the name called first.exe. So first.cs, first.exe. And this file contains CIL code in it. What it contains? CIL code. What is that CIL code? The compiled code of C++ is called as machine code. The compiled code of Java is called as bytecode. And the compiled code of C# is called as CIL code. That is CIL code. Okay, don't bother about the extension. Extension can be anything, but it is just going to be CIL code now. So compilation is successful. What next? Execution, yaar. After compilation, execution now. Execute it. How to execute? Watch. First.exe. Or your output, see. And basically, you don't require to give that exe also. Simply say first, enough. By default, operating system will identify the exe file and run to you. Is it clear, all of you? Okay. If you simply say first and hit the enter key, that executes the code to you. Okay. So again, let's sum up the things. Step 1, open the notepad, write your code in it. Step 2, create a folder on your hard disk and save the file into that folder. Okay. And this process, 2 things I said here. Don't use special characters in the folder names or file names, or don't use spaces in the folder names or file names. Don't do these 2 mistakes. No special characters, no spaces. That is step 2. Step 3, open developer command prompt. Open the developer command prompt and come to your folder. Step 4, compile the program. Once you compile the program, it will generate you the required output, the output what you are just expecting. Okay, my first C# program using Notepad. Okay, all of you, tell me fast. Understood the process? Oh, compile. Compile has shown you now, CSC. CSC file name. Okay, that is the compile. And this is to execute. This is to execute. Okay, guys, when I run that, see all the old commands, everything is coming here. Array, I want to clear my screen and show the output. I want to clear my screen and show the output. In C language, we just call a clear screen function. In C language, we call clear screen function before printing the output. Now, in C sharp also, we can do that. In C sharp also, we can just do that clear screen functioning. Okay, just a minute. Let me open the file. If you want to clear, we say system dot console dot clear. Write line is a method, clear is also a method. Okay, I'll explain you what is that console dot and all the things. Just watch. This is like our clear screen function, and this is going to clear the screen for you. Okay. Recompiling again. Watch there. Recompile and executing. Screen got clear of C, and after clearing the screen, now it is going to show you the output what you're expecting. My first C sharp program using Notepad. Is it clear, all of you? This is how you can compile and execute a program. This is how you can compile and execute a program basically. Compilation and execution of the program should be done as like this. Okay now? Fine. Now, let's try to understand about this here. How to write a program, I said here. Now, let me explain you about what is that system.console.writeLine or console.clear. What is that? Let's try to understand about this. Okay, let's try to understand about these two things today. Now, yeah, all of it. Carefully observe. What is this? I'm starting with console first. I'm starting with console. Console is a read that all of you. Console is a predefined class in the libraries of our language. Guys, listen here. It's one predefined class. Like this, we have 14,000 predefined classes available for us to consume. Not one class or two class. What is it? 14,000 predefined classes. For what, sir? For developing various different kinds of applications. I said, you can do everything with C sharp. You can do everything with C sharp. It's a notion of libraries. You can make use of these particular libraries and you can build different applications. Today we are using a class called console. Tomorrow if you go to web, there we will be using different classes. Mobile, different classes. Database applications, different classes. Gaming applications, different classes. For everything they have provided you a huge set of libraries available. In that, one predefined class is console. Are you clear? And this class provides what? It provides a set of members using which we can perform IO operations. IO operations means input-output operations on the standard IO devices. Come on, tell me what is the standard input device? Keyboard, yeah. Standard input device is keyboard. Output device? Monitor. Standard input device is keyboard and the standard output device is monitor. If at all you just wanted to perform any IO operations on this, we just go for using these things here. Are you guys clearer or not? So this is about the things. So you wanted to perform any IO operations, we just use this particular device, the keyboard and the monitor. If at all you want to work with them, you are provided with a class called console. So that's a predefined class in our libraries. Are you clearer, everyone? Any doubts? Tell me. Now, listen. In the class console, in the class console, in the class console, clear and write line are methods. Array, inside that class, clear and write line are methods now. Are you clear? In the class console, clear and write line are methods. Okay, clear and write line are methods, and apart from these methods, there are other methods also, like read line, so just a minute, write, read line, read key, etc. Array, write line is to perform output operation. Write, output, read line, read key, input. To take the input, we use them. Are you clear? Scanf, yeah, they are just like our scanf. Behaviors will be different. I'll teach you. Okay, but these are the things what we have. So in the class console, clear and write line are methods. Clear and write line are methods. And apart from these methods, there are other methods also, like write, read line, read key, etc. to perform the IO operations. To perform the IO operations. And now we'll get a doubt. What is the doubt? Sir, these members are defined inside the console class. Yes, the members are defined inside the console class. The members are defined inside the console class. Okay. And now what our question will be is, sir, if it is a member of the means, these are all members of the class. If they're all members of the class, what our big question will be, if they're members of the class, as you said yesterday, we should create object of the class to call them. Yes or not? Today morning also we talked about it. Members should be called by using object. Yes or not? But you did not do that. You directly called off. How, sir? How is it possible? How are you calling it directly without creating a object? Are you clear? All the members of console class, that's your answer. All the members of the console class are, and do you remember yesterday I said you this point also? Static members are called by prefixing the class name. Two things I shown you very clearly. Non-static members, what to do? Create the instance, and with the instance. And third point. Is it clearer or not? And now I'm giving a clarity for you. What is that? All the members of console class are static. So we can call them directly by prefixing Is it clear, all of you? Yes or not? If these methods are non-static, what should I do? I should create the object and call. But these methods are not non-static. These methods are all static. So no need to create an object. No need to create an object. Directly what we can do? Prefix class name and call. Now you understood what is console.clear and console.writeLine? Console is class. Clear and writeLine are methods of the class. To be clear, static methods of the class. Understood? Console is a class and clear and writeLine are static methods of the class. Apart from that, we have other static methods also. Like what? Write, read line, read key. All these are also the other static methods what we just have inside of our particular class now. So this is all about the console and clear or the writeLine methods. What next? System. Now the next question will be system. What is this system? Okay, I'll tell you. Listen guys, what is system then? What is system? Carefully listen. System is a namespace. System is a namespace. And a namespace is a logical container of types. A namespace is a logical container of types like container for types like class, structure, interface, enum, and delegate. So I'll clarify you just a minute. I'll tell you point by point. First thing what we require to understand is logical container. What is this logical container? Logical container in the sense doesn't occupy any space on your computer. Logical means doesn't occupy any space on your computer. Means it is not going to have any size. The best example I can give you for you is on your computer hard disk. On your computer hard disk, we have a drive. We have a drive. On the drive, we have folders and files. On the drive, we have folders and files. A folder is a container of files. A folder is a container of files. And a file is a container of data. I understand here. A folder is a container of files. And a file is a container of data. I hope you guys understood what I said here. Yes or not? What is that? A folder is a container of data, and a file is a folder is a container of files, and a file is container of data. But in these two, one is a physical, one is logical. One is physical, one is logical. Physical means has a size. Logical means doesn't have a size. Can you identify and tell me what is physical and what is logical? Folders are physical or logical? You told that clear and right line was static methods, even if we don't use static on class. Array, static is used on the class console already. You don't require to use it. You don't require to use. Static is already used on the class console. Console is predefined. Already on that class, static was used. Why should you use? You don't require to use. You directly call it. That's all. Folders are logical. Folder doesn't have a size here. Array, you create a folder, it doesn't have a size here. Size is always to the files, not to folders. I hope you guys are clear. Size is always to folders, files, not to folders. So a folder is a logical container. Did you understand me? A folder is a logical container of files. Why do we use them? Come on, yeah, no energy at all. Lazily you are sitting. Come on, why do we use a folder? For storing the files. Can't you store your file on the drive directly? Can't you store a file directly on the drive? No. You can't store a file on the drive. You can store now. Then what is the need of this folder again? You're telling folders are for storing files. I'm confused because files, you can directly store your files directly on the drive also. To maintain what unique? Grouping, yeah, grouping. We use folders for grouping. We created a folder called C#10. Like that, I have so many other folders also showed you C#7, C#8, C#9, and multiple folders here. So now to differentiate, we are maintaining separate folders and storing now. Grouping. Are you clear or not? The one reason why do we maintain the folders is to group. Second reason I'll tell you. What is the second reason, you know? Said folder is logical and you're telling file is logical again. Same, you're changing Ratna Kumari. File is not logical, file is physical. Folder is logical. That's what I said to you. Folders are logical, files are physical. Okay? Yeah. Second reason why we use folders, you know, listen. On C drive, can I store two files with the same name? On C drive, can I store two files with the same name? Why no, yaar? Create two folders and save. Create two folders and save here. Folder 1, folder 2. Save the first file in folder 1. Save the second file in folder 2. Physically both are on C drive only. Again blank faces you put. Did I say anything rocket science? Simple only na. Create two folders and store the appropriate files in the two folders. Both are physical on C drive, but logically separated by folders. The second reason why we use a folder, to overcome naming collision between the files. First one is to group. Second one, overcome the naming collision between the files. Are you guys clearer or not? Understood? So you understood about a folder now? Okay. A folder is a logical container. A folder is a logical container under the operating system. Under the operating system. This operating system provides you a logical container called folder. Same way, programming languages provide you one logical container called as namespace. Programming languages provides you a logical container called as namespace. So did you understand what is a namespace now? It's a logical container. Folder is a logical container of files. What files here? Any file here. Word file, Excel file, text file. So many files. Correct? Namespace is a logical container of types. What types? We have 5 types, guys. What are 5 Class, structure, interface, enums, delegates. Do you remember C language has 3 types? What are the 3? Structures, enums, union. Structure, enum, union. These are the 3 predefined, these are the 3 types available in C language. We can define our own structures. We can define our own enums. We can define our own unions. These are the predefined types. These are the types available in C language. And C# has 5 types. How many? 5. What are the 5? Class, structure, interface, enum. Everything is designed for a particular purpose and a reason. Okay? But one thing I'll tell you, 80% are classes only. 80% are remaining 4 are defined for particular specific reasons here. Don't bother, we'll talk about each and everything in detail. But maximum what will be coming across is classes. Okay? So what is the structure? What do they use? What is the interface? What do they use? I'll talk about all the appropriate things. So a namespace is a container under which you are required to define classes, structures, interfaces, enums, and delegates. Are you clear? There we said folder is a container for files. Namespace is a container for types. Not file here. What is it? Types. How many types are there? 5 types. Class, structure, interface, enum, delegate. All these are called as types. And just now, 20 minutes back I said, in our library there are 14,000 predefined classes to consume now. I'm correcting my statement here. In the libraries, we have 14,000 predefined types to consume, not classes to consume. What are they? Types to consume. Those types can be classes, those types can be structures, those types can be interfaces or enums or delegates. But 80% are classes. Remaining 20% are other things we have. What is the use of them? I'll tell you. We'll talk about them. Don't bother about it right now. Okay now? So did you get a clarity? What is a namespace first? Logical container of types. What is the use? What is the use of a folder? I explained to you. The same thing for a namespace also. What's it? Grouping. First thing is grouping. What is that? How many predefined types are there in our libraries? 14,000. All the 14,000 types will do the same thing. Therefore, developing different types of applications, I said, yes or not? So what did they do, All the types for developing web applications are put under one namespace. All the types for developing web applications are put under one namespace. All the types for developing mobile applications are put under one namespace. All the types for database operations are put under one namespace. All the types for file handling operations are put under one namespace. Like this, they put under separate namespaces, guys. So what is the advantage? Tomorrow you want to develop a web application. Is it easy to search for the related types in the 14,000? Or is it easy to search for the related types in the appropriate namespace? Which one is easy? Tell me. The correct namespace. No need to search them. All the 14,000 that becomes a headache now. In the appropriate namespace, I can search for it now. So guys, watch this picture, all of you. Namespace, these are namespaces. Types for developing. Types for developing. Types for developing. Same way, types for developing. Different kind of applications will be file handling operations. Next, database operations like this, like this, like this. Separate. Gaming applications. Understood? Robotics. For everything, separate namespaces. Related types will come now and sit into that particular namespace to you. That is the first use. Second usage. What is the second usage of a folder I said you? To overcome naming collision. Yes or not? Guys, tell me tomorrow in the real time, the whole project will be developed by a single person. Huh? Number of people will be working now. Unfortunately, what happened, two developers defined the class with the same name, guys. In a project, two developers defined the class with the same name. Everyone will write code on their own systems. We don't know now. When we come to know, when we're integrating the code, end of the day, what we do, I write code, you write code, someone write code, end of the code, all are integrated together. When we're integrating, problem comes now. Your class name, my class name, both are same now. Are you clear? To resolve this problem, to resolve this particular problem, you can put these classes under separate namespaces under the project. Your project means drive. Namespaces are folders. And our classes are files. Our classes are the files now. So you can resolve the naming collision like this. Watch the picture. Is a project. Under that I have two namespaces. One is NSP1. One is, here I have a class called first, here I have a class called first. Both are present in the same project only here, but logically separated by using the namespace. Is everything clear for all of you? Yes or not? Okay. So that's what. So finally, watch it all of you. Every predefined type in our libraries, every predefined type in our libraries is defined under some namespace. Every predefined type. How many I said you? Every predefined type in our libraries is defined under some namespace. It is defined under some namespace. Everything. Okay. Next, we can also define our own types. Types means class. We define a class type. Our own types under a namespace, and we will look. We will do this. We will do this while working with. I will teach you guys how to write your own namespaces. I'll teach you, but not now. I'll teach you when you're working with Visual Studio. Is it clear? But all 14,000 are under some namespace. Clear? Next. If a type is defined under a namespace, if a type is defined under a namespace, then whenever and wherever we want to consume the type, we need to prefix namespace name to it. And that is the reason why in our previous program, we have referred to control class as, read it. Read the third point carefully, all of you. Here, tell me, I'll tell you a simple example for it. Your name doesn't have a value without your surname. Agree with me? Your name doesn't have a value without your surname. Agree with me or not? Do you know Sachin? Who is he? Cricketer. Oh yeah, he's my office boy. Did I say Sachin Tendulkar? Then why are you telling all Sachins are cricket players? Oh, they are telling cricket player then? If I say Sachin Tendulkar, then you should say cricket player. Yes, Sachin, in every road one Sachin will be there. Yeah. All Sachins are not cricket players. Are you clear? So that's what. Tendulkar is his name. Is his surname. Sachin is his name. And Tendulkar is his surname. If I say Sachin, so many Sachins are there. Who is that Sachin? I don't know. But Sachin Tendulkar is brand. Are you clear? So their surname is important there. Correct? Same way, the namespace name is also important for us. So we need to prefix the namespace name before the type name. That is why we called it as system.console.writeline. Are you clear? So summing up together. So system, what is this? Namespace contains multiple types in it. How many are there? Don't know. Multiple types of present. That's what. Now under the system, we have a class. What's it? Console. What is this? Class. Defined under system namespace. Defined under system namespace. Next. Clear. Write. Write line. Read. Read key. Read line. What are all these things? Methods. Defined under static methods. Defined under console class. Static methods defined under console class. Also how to call system dot console dot clear or write line. Now understood? What is this name of the namespace? Now all names will be Pascal case na. So yes, capital. This is the name of the class, C capital. This is the name of the method, all are names. And what did I say? Thumb rule. Every time names should be in Pascal case. Every time your name should be in the Pascal case. That is the thumb rule, what I just demonstrated for you. So S capital here, C capital here, and here C, W, W, L, R, R, K, R, L, all these are capitals what I just have. Any doubts? Any one of you about a namespace or a class or a method? So namespaces here, we are not defining namespaces now. I will show you defining namespaces when we start working with the Visual Studio. In Visual Studio, we'll see. Okay. So as of now, we will not libraries. Yeah, all libraries in the libraries, all names will be in Pascal case. That's it. Without that confusion, why all this confusion here? I simply said one point. Names will be in Pascal case. That's all. Predefined, user defined. Every time name is Pascal case. Follow that rule. That's all. Is that clear? Every time for a name, follow Pascal case only. Your class name or your method name or a predefined class name or a predefined method name, every time follow Pascal case. That will be clear for you to remember. Okay now? All methods are static methods. Yes, all methods in console class are static methods. Not all methods. In the 14,000 classes, we have millions of methods here. All are not static. Methods of console class are static. Okay now? So that's what. So that's the case, guys. So I hope you people are clear with how to write a program and understood all these things now. Yes or not? But now we have a doubt. Sir, every time should I type this system? Every time lengthy na? Typing work, you're required to type all these things now. Clear? Huh? How to resolve that, I'll tell you in the next class. How to resolve that particular problem, I'll teach you in the next class. First, to practice this one, write a program, compile it, execute it. Tomorrow, I'll tell you how to simplify the code. Clearer? Huh? Tomorrow, I'll teach you how to simplify the code in the next session. We'll stop here, wait tomorrow. In 14,000, all are not under console class. Pay him 14,000, what are 14,000 methods or classes? That 14,000 are methods, 14,000 are classes. The 14,000 are not methods here. When did I say method? 14,000 predefined types, I said here. Evening 4 o'clock. Guys, just want to remind you, today evening 4 o'clock, who are not attending SQL server, if you're not attending SQL server, 4 o'clock attend for HTML classes. 4 o'clock attend for HTML classes. Is that clear? You can directly sign in from your, directly you can open the website. Narrative website open here. In that you will be having the link. You'll have a register button. Click on that and you can join off. Okay, now, or otherwise, I'll post that meeting ID in the Google Classroom. You can join like that directly. Open the website here, narrative.com. Go to new batches section. In new batches section, you have an HTML. Click on the register button, you will join the class. Okay? When SQL server will start. When it starts, I'll tell you here. When it starts means I cannot tell you now. Whenever it starts, I'll inform you. Okay? Thousand are not methods. 14,000 are types. Types means classes and all. Inside the class, methods will be there. Okay, I'll ask him to post in the Google Classroom, all of you. It's still 4 o'clock. It's from today. It is from today. 17th. It's from today, not tomorrow. I posted that meeting ID in the Google Classroom. You can download from Google Classroom. You can see in the Google Classroom. I put in the Google Classroom also. It's from today only.
Recording stopped.